takes more than a power-hungry empire to destroy and bend the will of a people who, throughout its history, have seen enemies from different parts of the globe trying to subjugate their spirit. The National History Museum is one of the best places to understand this about the Mexican people. More than 75,000 historical pieces are among its heritage, including 3 historic carriages. The daily use carriage, upholstered in fabric and velvet. There were actually 31 of these brought over and distributed among the Imperial Palace of Mexico, Imperial Palace of Chapultepec, and Cuernavaca. The Benito Juárez carriage, made in France, was used during the Second Mexican Empire by Juárez on his pilgrimage through the Mexican territory until his return to Mexico City in 1867 and the French intervention. The carriage was donated by one of Benito Juárez's daughters. The gala carriage of Maximiliano and Carlota was a gift to Maximiliano by citizens of Lombard Veneto, of whom Maximiliano had been governor. They embarked in Europe and 45 days later arrived in Veracruz. This carriage arrived several days later. It is 5 meters long by 1.8 meters wide and 4 meters high. It was produced by Cesare Scala's house in Milan, Italy. It was only used for very special occasions and only by the Empress Carlota. Maximiliano would prefer to travel on horseback. The interior is made with applications of leather, trim, thread, and silver hardware, silk and cotton fabric, brocade and quilted. These carriages were transferred to the Chapultepec Castle in June 1942 as part of preparations for the inauguration of the National History Museum in 1944. From the main patio, you have this spectacular view of the Chapultepec forest and a large part of Mexico City. The artist Pedro Telles Toledo, by order of President Porfirio Diaz, created the fireplace and the sideboards of this dining room made of cedar, mahogany, metal, and marble. The sculptor Epitacio Calvo was in charge of the dining room decoration. Imagine being able to read your favorite book in this exquisite room. Without skimping on expenses, every detail and luxury is present in this magnificent place where Carlota used to rest. Countless pieces of art are found in this room, the portrait of Maximiliano and Carlota, made by Albert Greifel in 1865, Napoleon III and his wife Eugenia de Montijo, the pianos, one French and the other one English. Here, the leaders, along with their people, met in a vulnerable Mexico, but willing to do whatever it took to obtain what was so besieging, their freedom. It took great courage and sacrifice in those days by the Mexican people so we could enjoy what we see here today. Clearly more austere than Carlota's bedroom. Maximiliano was a lover of gardens, and he thought that this would be an extremely suitable place to have one. He also ordered flowers for every season of the year. This way, all year round, there would be flowers throughout the garden. Caballero Alto is a tower located on the second floor of the Chapultepec Castle. The tower was built by the architect Joaquín Velázquez in 1842. When the castle was remodeled to house the military school, it received the name of Caballero Alto, Tall Knight, for being the name by which the observation towers and military buildings were designated. From there, the movement of the invading troops were observed during the U.S. intervention. On December 18, 1876, General Vicente Riva Palacio, Minister of Development of the Porfirio Díaz government, orders the establishment of the Astronomical, Meteorological, and Magnetic Observatory. It was inaugurated on May 5, 1878. During this period, the engineer Ángel Anguiano built a cupola with a quarry base and an iron frame covered in wood and varnished canvas over the Caballero Alto in order to house the main telescope. In 1883, the observatory is transferred to its new facilities in Tacubaya. Built in the 20s, after the presidents of those years made the castle their own personal residence. This castle has been through so many different things over its years. There is so much history impregnated in each of its stones. It has been destroyed almost to the ground, part of it burnt down, attacked several times by invading forces, and more. And yet, it is still standing. Not only standing, but proudly standing on top of the hill, telling us something, conveying the message that no matter how hard you get hit by circumstances and situations around you, you will still stand at the end. No matter how many battles you have to go through, you will win the war. I've certainly learned quite a few things from this place, but even more than that, I've learned more about myself with this humbling experience, and I truly hope you do as well.